So I've seen a few tier list AD carry videos for the preseason, in which case Jinx isn't actually that high in any of these tier lists. She's actually rather low. But one of the things I'm seeing about these tier lists and why I'm making this video is they're doing things like saying the standard AD carry page, you have press the attack, and you have like coup de grace. And those are the things I just don't think are good on Jinx to begin with. If Jinx is going to be a top tier AD carry in this meta, I think there are different runes she's supposed to take. So in other words, what I'm saying is if you're going to judge Jinx and put her lower down on the totem pole, at least put her down there when you at least put the right runes on her to begin with, which I'll explain in this video. I'm not saying press the attack can't work on Jinx, especially with her AoE, switching targets and her range wouldn't be that necessarily hard, but when you see lethal tempo, it screams Jinx. When I see auto attack champions, period, I think lethal tempo. I don't think press the attack. Yes, press the attack is good, and on someone like Lucian, who's like auto attacks and spell weaving, he can definitely make it work. But for me, when it comes to Jinx, lethal tempo is the way to go. You don't go press the attack on Jinx. You go lethal tempo. That synergizes way too well with the attack speed already built into her minigun, and then the attack speed she gets on her passive when you're proccing it, that once you get to the late game, you can literally exceed 670 attack speed, and you'll just tear through structures and champions alike. Because by then you'll also have a lot of crit behind your auto attacks, and it's just going to be disgusting. And that, I think, is the best way to go. Now this next one is a little bit on the fence. I don't like coup de grace because it gives you more damage against low health champions, and I'm playing a hyper carry the likes of Jinx, who is already going to have a bunch of high damage because her rocket launcher already has 10% extra damage in it already in the kit, but furthermore she's going to be building crit, which is just going to mean when a champion is low on health, an enemy champion, I'm probably just going to crit them and kill them anyway, so I don't need the extra damage on targets that are already almost dead. What I personally like is more damage on targets that are more beefy than I am, because those are the targets that I'm probably going to need to worry about the most, the likes of bruisers and tanks. And tanks, even if they're not going to necessarily be killing me, it's my job then, a hyper carry's job, a DPS AD carry's job, to take down objectives and tanks. So I'm going to want the cut down, for me personally more so, to deal with that. And finally, I've seen some people say that domination is what you go secondary on AD carries instead of sorcery, and again, I disagree with this because some people then go the one that gives you extra lethality and magic penetration after a dash, a blink, a teleport, or coming out of stealth. Those are all things that Jinx does not have, and several AD carries kind of don't have, and less stealth means just coming out of the fog of war. Now yes, Jinx does dash when using her passive, but again, if you're using her passive, there's a chance you're already being successful without that rune, and that's why I'm on the fence about that one. That one can be okay, I guess, in that specific scenario, but overall, it feels way too narrow and only in certain situations to be able to use, while instead if you take sorcery or something else, you can get things like adaptive, scaling over time AD, and movement speed, and gathering of the storm for even more AD, so now your crits will have a bunch of damage behind them because you're scaling a lot more AD behind those abilities. The only one I will budge on is in fact coup de grace and cut down, because in the meta right now there's not necessarily a lot of tanks anymore, so that's part of the reason I think people are saying coup de grace is better. You're going to be dealing with a lot more assassins and fighter junglers and stuff like that, so having the extra damage to make sure you can secure a kill as quickly as possible, and what might be a burst meta is fine. Obviously when a burst meta is existent and assassins are a thing, hyper carries are looked at as bad because of their weaknesses, but after a meta where we're just coming off of things like Ardent Censer, I don't think many people are complaining that hyper carries are falling off, potentially. But when it comes to Jinx specifically, this is probably my biggest gripe though, because right now, if you're watching this video, there's a chance it's because you want to play Jinx anyway, or you're Jinx main, or Jinx one trick, you want to figure something out despite the fact that assassins and bursts might be a thing, and those are my changes that I've done to my rune pages when it comes to Jinx that I just like better. So, a TLDR, if you will, is lethal tempo over press the attack, cut down over coup de grace, and then instead of going domination as a secondary tree, look at the other trees. Look at sorcery, even look at resolve, and then take the demolish tree. Because if burst is a thing, and you get the chance to siege on a tower, maybe you just want that extra damage that does actually scale even on an AD carry pretty well into the game. Especially if a sieging DPS AD carry like Jinx, you'll actually take those towers down pretty fast with demolish the later the game goes. And you might not have a lot of windows to do that in a burst and assassin meta, so that's something you can look at. Not necessarily saying that you have to do it, but I'm just trying to provide other answers to what people are starting to say is standard, and a meta that's really kind of chaos. The preseason's chaos. Right now, some of everything can be top tier if you play it right or you find the right combination. It's part of why the preseason is kind of exciting right now, is because like everything can kind of be good, and it's actually pretty great. But for Jinx specifically, all these, she's not but like a C tier AD carry right now. I feel like it's because you're kind of tunnel visioning on what is standard and a meta and in runes and stuff that's so new that nothing's really standard yet. So that's all for this video. I kind of wanted to address those things, and I kind of wanted to cover some things. I have a runes video that kind of blew up now in the past day that was made over a month ago when things were a little bit different. So I want to address some of those things too in this video. Hopefully I did. If you have any more questions, by all means ask me in the comment section down below. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe as well. But that's all for this video. I don't know which video will be next, because life be quite a mess. So until next time, take care from the Fire Guy FS, and thank you for watching.